Just wait till the isolation, torture, mutilation, and your friends!
You would be wise to surrender.
Yeah. Probably.
By the right of the Council, by the will of the Force, Cal Kestis. Rise, Jedi Knight.
Star Wars has been on a roller coaster ride ever since Lucasfilms was bought by Disney, with us getting great projects like The Mandalorian, them continuing the Clone Wars after their purchase, and the amazing Rogue One. But there has also been a lot of mixed opinions on projects like the sequel trilogy, the Book of Boba Fett, and the Bad Batch. However, regardless of who owned the franchise, it has always had a great run within the gaming industry, with The Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic, and so many other well-loved games, like the one I'm talking about today, Jedi Fallen Order, which was a welcome surprise coming from the publisher EA, who seems to have a vendetta against single-player games, and was developed by Respawn Entertainment that primarily dealt with first-person shooters, leading to a game that I believe competes with some of the best in the franchise on the small and big screen. So let me tell you why Jedi Fallen Order is Star Wars at its best. Starting with the gameplay, Fallen Order sits somewhere between a Souls-like and character action, never committing to either side, with difficulty allowing you to adjust the game to your skill level but keeping the framework of a Souls game, by having environments connect in ways you couldn't see, on top of having its own form of bonfires, forcing you to retread old areas carefully to get back the experience you lost by dying. But in my opinion, what keeps the game challenging is the upgrade system that focuses on improving your skill instead of upgrading your stats, leading you to focus on maximizing your abilities instead of grinding to the point where enemies are a non-factor, which is a great decision for replayability on higher difficulties. With 45 different enemies within the game, you change your approach to combat depending on which combination of enemies you come across. Combat is always fun, with each enemy having a different type of attack pattern, leading you to be more aggressive or defensive in combination with the various lightsaber attacks and force abilities, giving you a path to get out of any situation. The combat can be overwhelming at times with the number of enemies on screen, with how different they all are, but once you get used to it, it becomes a fun challenge that pushes you to play better. The boss battles are also very enjoyable as well, and showcases some of the best lightsaber action in any Star Wars game. On top of teaching you how to play the game, Second Sister tests your adaptability with her wide range of moves, Malicos forces you to parry to make him vulnerable, and lastly, defeating Trilla confirms that you have some level of mastery over every tool available to you. So it's very easy to see how this game keeps you on your toes for this 20-hour journey. But I could talk about the combat all day, so let's get into the visuals and environment. The game has an amazing art style that helps make it feel like a part of the Star Wars universe, to the point where it would feel normal to see Cameron Monaghan, the actor who plays Cal Kestis, to appear in live action. The level of design is also great, and every area feels unique, with its own challenges and obstacles, from the forests of Kashyyyk to the snow-covered landscapes of Ilum and the desolate Dathomir. Each level has its own personality that reflects in its visuals, and the fact that the game runs at a consistent 60 frames per second on my PC is a testament to how much work Respawn put into optimizing this game. The environments are beautiful, and the game is filled with details that will make you stop and look around. For example, when walking through the forest of Kashyyyk, you can see birds flying overhead and hear them chirping as you explore. These little things help the game feel more immersive and like it belongs. The game also has some great sound design. Blaster shots are satisfyingly loud and powerful, and the lightsabers have a unique sound that adds to the overall experience, complemented by the soundtrack that has that distinct Star Wars sound, making you feel like you're in a galaxy far, far away. A basic summary of Jedi Fallen Order is that we follow Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66 and has been hiding from the Empire for 5 years. But when he uses the Force to save a friend, his life is disrupted. So he goes on a journey where he runs from Inquisitors, looks for the remnants of an ancient ancient civilization, searches for a way to restore the Jedi Order, becomes a true Jedi, and strikes back against the Empire. It does a great job of giving us a look into what happened after Order 66 and what life was like for Jedi hiding from the Empire. Unfortunately, unless you're relatively new to the Star Wars franchise, you can call the ending of the game from a mile away due to the time period in which the game is set in. However, even though the narrative isn't the best among Star Wars, the characters more than make up for that, because in my opinion, Star Wars has become a series defined by the characters within it rather than its story arcs. The game does an excellent job of giving us characters that you can connect with and care about. The main character, Cal Kestis, who has been dealing with the guilt and trauma of his master dying during Order 66 and how he blames himself for that. Then there's Trilla, the main antagonist, who is almost a twisted version of Cal, with her trauma stemming from her master abandoning her, leading her to be captured and tortured by the Empire, corrupting her into an Inquisitor. And lastly, Saray Junda, who is Trilla's former master and one of Cal's companions during the game, is probably the most interesting character in the game because due to her failing Trilla, she dipped into the dark side of the Force, leading her to lose her connection altogether. These characters and their problems don't seem relatable on the surface, but if you scale them down, it's easy to connect with them. This is because they're all human. They have flaws and problems that we all can relate to. With Cal's childhood past haunting him 5 years later, Trilla's trauma leading her to make others suffer like she did, and even Saray's failure making her give up and run from her problems. And this isn't just a thing with the characters, but also the story itself. The plot is about loss and acceptance, which we all have to deal with at some point in our lives. With the ancient society of the Zepho sending a message from the past about the acceptance of their society coming to an end, hoping that their tale of pride and corruption will serve as an example of what not to do for future generations. Playing into classic storytelling tropes that mirrors the history of our own world, which this franchise has done most famously with the tragedy of the Clone Wars. With the Jedi Council having so many chances to weed out the mastermind behind their fall, and even show grace to those that have gone above and beyond the call of duty for the galaxy time and time again, could have easily changed the course of the universe. And with Cal having plenty of time to think about these things, decides to be a different type of Jedi by the end of the game, by destroying the list of names of Force-sensitive children so neither he or the Empire can use those kids to repeat the mistakes of the past, letting the Force guide him to a choice that won't result in another Fallen Order. So with that being said, that is why Jedi Fallen Order is Star Wars at its best. And if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and support my Patreon if you enjoy my content. Also, if you want to see another video essay, that's on screen right now.